4 days ago, I published my first video on YouTube. Stick around and hear what I learned. It might actually surprise you. On the night before the video went live, my family went swimming. We were up at a a campground in near St. Cloud, Minnesota. Everybody went swimming. I was sitting by the fire, thinking a lot about YouTube. Had just pressed the publish button. It was going to publish at midnight. Started second guessing myself. Started second guessing the thumbnail. Started wondering if anybody was going to watch. Feels like an appropriate time to say thank you to all of you that have watched, especially those that have come back for more. I don't want to say I don't know what you're here for, but I am thankful you're here. And please like this video. But yeah, the night before, a lot of nerves. Started second guessing myself and realized I'd already made my first mistake. I decided I was going to publish it at midnight, where my schedule had it publishing at 9. I'll get to that a little bit later. So I had to adjust that. Then I watched it again. And nothing is more humbling than watching yourself on video like 20 times. And I noticed a mistake. So I had to actually go through the entire process all over again, not of recording it, but of editing it, which was a learning process all by itself, and then also republishing it on YouTube. It didn't take that long, but it was a process nonetheless. I spent most of the day on Friday working on that. But as I've mentioned before, I love to learn, and quite frankly, learning how to YouTube is kind of a meta hobby, if you will. YouTubing is a hobby, I suppose you could say, and learning how to edit video and all that is right in line with my love for learning. The morning of July 4th, I thought it was super cool and fitting that I would publish my video on the 250th anniversary of this nation, of this great nation. And I was busy cooking on the griddle breakfast for everybody, along with my oldest daughter, Becca. She was helping. My brand new solo griddle, mind you, not sponsored, but I love that griddle. It's stainless steel, and it's probably a good subject for a video some other day. But anyways, we were doing that, and I realized my video was live. And that was a weird feeling to think that I now have a video that's out there. And there was a lot of nerves about that too, about putting myself out there. There still is, to be honest with you. But I thought, I'm going to push through this. I'm learning a lot about myself, believe it or not, in doing this. I don't mind being on camera. I don't mind staring at a lens. But the idea of actually doing it over and over again does terrify me just a bit. But I did post, as you know, in Kix Crafts as well, the Facebook page. Got a lot of people following it or watching it there. I don't have a large following, or not a ton of you watched, that's for sure, but enough of you that I thought I don't know everybody that watched it. Any other time I've ever published on YouTube or anywhere else, it's always been a private video, and so therefore I knew everybody that watched it because I was the one that shared with them the link. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I have notes down here, so if I keep on looking down, that's why. What surprised me about that moment, or the idea of publishing a video on YouTube, was how easy it was. I was assuming that it was going to be quite an uphill climb. And not so much the ease of like, you know, it took me 2 minutes kind of thing, but it was not a hard thing to do. I guess it makes sense that YouTube would make it a very easy process. I'd already had a lot of experience shooting video and editing video. I wouldn't say a large amount of experience, but I've had experience doing that. And instead of using Adobe Premiere, I decided to use DaVinci's Resolve, and found that editing platform to be a lot easier. And I started using AI for the planning part. I'll get to that in a second, but I think there's, you know, like I said earlier, YouTube is a hobby. I think one of the things I'm finding interesting about a lot of my hobbies is, even though I'm a tech guy that retired, the tech didn't retire in me, if that makes sense. What did I write down? I retired from tech, but apparently tech didn't retire from me. And so a lot of my hobbies, the ones I really like, seem to have a technical aspect to them. They all have to do with learning, which like I said in my very first video, I think is a real key aspect of being retired and enjoying retirement is learning. Anybody I know that says they're bored in retirement, it typically means they're stagnant. They're not doing anything. They think about it a lot, but they don't do much about it. But back to AI again. So I started using AI with ChatGPT. And my last full-time job was a company, or helping lead a company that did AI, but it was in computer vision over in Ireland, which is a story for another day. That was a lot of fun, learned a lot. It was the first technology job where I didn't really understand quite a bit of the tech. I didn't understand that computer vision AI stuff. Not very much. We had a lot of PhDs working for us. So when I kept on hearing about AI, I was thinking back to the AI from back in the early 2000s, or I guess it'd be not early 2000s, 2022, early then. But I started meeting people that say, hey, have you tried ChatGPT? It's wonderful, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. So on our last vacation last fall, I decided I'm going to try this out. And so I started watching videos on ChatGPT just about it, not actually using it, and decided to subscribe or to sign up, I guess. I wasn't paying for it at the time, and was a little blown away by it. And didn't use it a ton, used it to try to more or less plan, when we travel somewhere, say, okay, what's there to do in Pensacola, Florida, for instance, for two adults, that are retired, but, went on and on, described it as best I could from what I've learned from the videos. And I was pretty amazed by it. And then along comes this other AI platform called Claude from Anthropic. Again, didn't know anything about it, but knew roughly that it was the same technology. I switched to that as a trial about a month and a half, 2 months ago. It's a long story to get to one point, I guess, but and found it to be much better for my liking anyways. I did subscribe to it. I actually subscribed to ChatGPT as well. Excuse me. But decided that when I wanted to record a video, or videos, I guess, on YouTube, I was going to use Claude to help me. And so I guess the reason I wanted to bring it up was the outline I have right here was me working with Claude this morning, and was blown away by how much it helped. Obviously, I'm doing the thinking behind it in terms of what I want to say and how I want to say it. But using Claude as kind of the scaffolding around it. I don't do any of the documentation anymore. I just talk to Claude like it was a human being, which sounds kind of strange to me, to be honest with you. And it talks back to me like it is a human being. It does make mistakes, so you got to watch what it does. And you can't also take it, what it says, word for word, because I've added stuff and says, oh, good point. It'll say, it actually says that. Oh, good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. But in terms of doing the heavy lifting on creating things, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, so like I said, it created these Wednesday teaser video on how launch week felt. And it actually created, like I said, the outline. And then also I asked it to help me create the description, the title and the description, and it documented all that after going back and forth with it for a while. And so AI is actually, I would say, for me, lowered the bar, maybe that's not the right way to describe it, lowered the amount of work, decreased the amount of work it takes to, I would say, do a YouTube video well. Now, if it actually could edit the video for me, which there probably is some AI tool I could get to help me edit it. I know this Resolve has some AI built in. You have to pay for it, so I haven't done that yet. I'm using the free version. But that surprised me, I guess, about that. And like I said, what also surprised me is how easy this was. I will say, though, as we as we get into thinking about doing more of these, I think having a content calendar is critical. Now, again, Claude, my wife Teresa has gotten really sick of me saying Claude. Hey, Claude said. But, it's a tool. And when you're retired, one of the things that is very true is you're alone a lot. Now, I'm an outgoing introvert, so being alone doesn't bother me at all. I'm down in my shop now, all alone. Teresa's up at the house. But being alone is fine. But and I would say also being retired, another thing is the love of it anyways, is you give up on deadlines, you give up on meetings, you give up on all that stuff if you want to. Obviously, you can volunteer and get those things back. But creating a content calendar, I think, is critical. And the reason I think it's critical is because just the idea that I have a calendar of what's coming out today, or I should say tomorrow. Well, I'm filming this on Tuesday, and what's going to come out on Saturday and the next Wednesday and the next Saturday. This morning I was like, well, what am I getting myself into? What did I just commit to? And, that's the other thing is you're committing now publicly. Not to say that if I decide for whatever reason down the road that I don't want to do this anymore, I'll just quit doing it. That was my youngest daughter said that, well, what's the downside? You just quit if you decide. But I like the idea of sharing with all of you little tips and tricks or even like things that I'm learning or following along with me as I guess, navigate this retired life. And maybe you pick up a nugget or two, or at a minimum, hopefully you find some of what I do entertaining. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's an educational or an entertainment, but I'm not sure it really matters because, like I said, I'm not trying to get rich. But having a calendar is critical. And going back and forth with Claude about my reservations about having a calendar I've committed myself to. Granted, I'm not making it public, the calendar, but nonetheless, I'm committed to doing it myself. Is that that's important because that's the distinction between thinking about having a hobby and learning one and actually carrying through. Same with going to the gym and getting in shape. The same with learning a new instrument. I mean, anything that requires some discipline on following through over and over and over again is better served if it has a calendar. Otherwise, life gets in the way. You wake up and you go, oh, I got to clean the house today. You got to whatever, mow the lawn, whatever it is for you, you can just say, I'll do it tomorrow. Now, that is one of the things I love about retirement, is, as my dad used to say, you wake up with nothing to do, but you go to bed half done. I'll never forget that. And it's one of those things that happens to me a lot, and I really like the fact that you don't have to finish today. You can get up and do it, finish it tomorrow. And I think that's what that says to me. But having a calendar does say that you do have to finish. You can't go on and on. My wife is really into quilts, and they have a saying in the quilting world called UFOs. Oh, what are you doing today? I'm working on my UFOs. And you're like, what the heck is a UFO? Unfinished objects. And so I like to say that I have a lot of UFOs as well, but hopefully I do eventually finish. That's important. But I think some structure is really important. Now, what I don't want to do is feel like I got a job. And so that's why this video is unscripted. Matter of fact, I think all my videos are going to be unscripted, where I'll have an outline so I know kind of what the bullet points I want to say. But if you're looking for one of those videos where the backdrop is really pretty and everything's really polished, and it's clear they have a teleprompter because they're reading the script, you've come to the wrong place. I don't even know how long this video is, but I'm trying to keep them fairly short. My Saturday videos maybe will be a little longer and maybe have a little bit more structure behind them. That remains to be seen, I guess. Let's see, what else did I have on here? Yeah, so I think the other thing that I'm going to do at the end of my videos, maybe not every one of them because I'm not as busy, especially in the summer months, is walk around the shop a bit and talk about what I'm working on. Again, more of an ad hoc, not necessarily, well, not scripted for sure, and not necessarily really long. But if you've thought about doing YouTube, I would say for sure do it. Because I would say, like I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I'm surprised that the YouTubers I follow, some of them I'm surprised. I'm surprised at how many subscribers some of these people have. Now, granted, some of them have such a niche topic that they don't get a lot of subscribers because there's just not enough people, or there's too many people or that are doing the same thing they're doing. And so my channel is more about being retired and what's a retired guy do, and maybe have a few nuggets on retirement wisdom along the way. You know, and I should actually talk about my structure. And if you actually would love to, well, love maybe is a strong emotion, but if you'd like to hear me talk about my routines, and I think if there's anything about a retired person that I think is important is having some routine in your life. Otherwise, you end up sitting in your PJs until 3 p.m. Realize it's 3 p.m. Get up, you know, and then make dinner and start the process all over again. I do get up early, but I don't yet have a good enough morning routine. But if you want me to talk about that in more detail, just comment down below, if you would, please. And if you're curious about what I'm doing or what retirement life can be like, please like and subscribe. I'm Steve. This is Curious Kicks, and thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Well, what if I covered everything? Sure looks like it. YouTube.